I always thought the main weakness was like not enough character because it's a huge cast.
It's always a
So
huge cast.
it's always the focus has always been on like mainly 3 or 4 characters, right? Even in the past ones, it was always Wolverine.
Yeah.
It was always Professor X, Jean
Cyclops
Grey,
and Jean.
and even Cyclops always gets put on the puts on the sideline
That's
pretty
true,
much,
yeah.
right? Here, yeah, you get your focus on Professor X and Magneto, which is great. But I did feel the actual characters, the only people who stood out there in the X-Men, Beast and Mystique.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone else doesn't get to do much. They have their moments, but their moments are really more in terms of like window dressing, moving the plot forward, and the special effects.
Yeah.
I mean, Banshee looks amazing
Yeah.
when he flies. Oh, you want when you see him fly, you want to see more of who this character is, right? And that's what I feel. You know, people can say, "Oh, because it's a large cast," but if you watch a movie like Fast 5, every character gets the spotlight to a certain extent. They still get those spotlights, right?
Yeah.
And I just wish that they had given that time as well.
It's a bit tough because I think this movie ran for like 2 hours and 10 from what I recall, and they really tried to put a lot of plot in there, some subplots as far as Charles and Eric and the Cuban Missile Crisis thing and Sebastian Shaw's role, and they tried, and again it's X-Men, so there's a lot of people. It is a perennial problem in these big movies.
Yeah.
So we have to hope that this doesn't happen with the Avengers next year, because that's going to be a big cast, and all of them are going to be lead actors.
I think
none of them will be set in the background. I mean, even Black Widow has to have her moment in the sun.
Although the way I see it, they will make prominent.
The big three.
The big three will be the main
they're gonna have
spotlight
to be,
talaga. Although, but when you think about it, Hulk's got to be in there. Diba?
Nick Fury.
So it's a lot to juggle. But I have faith in Whedon. I've always had faith in the guy.
See, there's that. We're kind of apprehensive. We're looking forward already because with the X-Men First Class, like again, it's a big cast.
It's a huge cast.
I think the focus really had to be on Professor X and Magneto because it's the bromance. It's the quintessential tale. Even as the trailer said, before he was Professor X, he was Charles. Before he was Magneto, he was Eric. So the essence of the struggle between the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants lies there. And the way that these characters have been presented is Professor X is Martin Luther King and Magneto is Malcolm X. Just as those characters struggled for civil rights, these characters have been struggling for mutant rights, and they're coming from different sides of the political spectrum, if you think of it that way. One wants peaceful coexistence. One wants subjugation of the human race for the superior mutant race. So. For me, another interesting thing was, Magneto was the victim of the Jewish Holocaust, and Sebastian Shaw abused him and used him from World War II onwards. Yet by the 1960s, he basically adopts Sebastian Shaw's view that the mutants must be superior. He basically becomes what he hates the most.
Yeah.
So.
It's just ironic, and he does say it, and then he just says basically, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But the point is that you did this, so it's
because you. If you didn't do that, I might have agreed with you and sided with you there.
Yeah. So okay, I'm just gonna bring up my whole bone of contention here.
Go.
It's just like, I mean, I like the relationship, but I don't know. I guess what I was hoping to happen was that you had Xavier already saw into his mind, right? And saw how his homicidal tendencies, that he wanted revenge, he wanted blood. So Xavier was said what did he do? All he did was talk to him, explain to him, hey, what you're trying to do isn't right, blah blah blah. And I understand that, but I wish he had taken to the next level. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I'm not a writer, so it should have been something to persuade Magneto, hey, you shouldn't do it. You should not. I don't know. I was hoping for like for some level of redemption from Magneto,
Right.
because like Xavier knew the whole time that he was gonna kill Shaw,
Yeah.
and he just and there was no point in the movie where I saw that he was gonna like relent. You're right. I shouldn't do it. So in the tension wasn't there at the end of the movie. That's what I was looking for. That's what was parang kulang
For me, I found the tension there because when Xavier does enter Magneto's mind and tries to understand why he's become that way, he also finds a way to unlock more power within Magnus. That he does the whole thing with the satellite dish.
Right, and he mentions that the whole thing about you have to be
It's a fine line.
between
Between is that
your anger or
Anger
something like
and-
that,
yeah.
and like peace or something.
so there was a point there where they really got along. I mean, again, it's a suspension of the disbelief because you only have 2 hours and 20 minutes. Supposedly, this relationship between Magneto and Professor X lasted years in the comics. They were friends for years. They were best friends, and they really did want the same thing as far as mutant rights, but they just wanted it from they just wanted different ways of getting it to happen. I guess the passage of time wasn't done properly in the movie, so in that sense you feel everything's put together in one. It's like it happens in just 1 year or less than a year. That's why you couldn't convince. They weren't able to do the whole convincing thing because if both of us are comic geeks, so we kind of know a bit better that they've been at this struggle for decades. Charles Xavier and Eric Lencher, they've been at this struggle for decades, and each has been trying to get the other to come to the other side. There was a time in the 80s where Magneto was a good guy. He actually wasn't a member of the X-Men. And there's been a time that Professor Xavier turned into a bad guy because he absorbed your mutant race. So, for me, another interesting thing was, Magneto was the victim of the Jewish Holocaust. And Sebastian Shaw abused him and used him from World War II onwards. Yet by the 1960s, he basically adopts Sebastian Shaw's view that the mutants must be superior. He basically becomes what he hates the most. So,
it's just ironic, and he does say it, and then he just says basically, I agree with you. But the point is that you did this, so and so.
Because if you didn't do that, I might have agreed with you and sided with you. There.
Yeah.